Happy Wednesday out there to all of my fathers. It is the hump day, which means we're midway through that work week. Hope you guys are doing awesome right now. Hope you guys are killing it. We are going to take a moment right now and just talk about what having a busy day can actually do to you if you live in that busy day too long, and how you have to find the time to unplug. So for me, yesterday was one of those work days where I had to get up for some meetings that were happening in a different time zone earlier than I typically had to. So I started the day a couple hours earlier than I typically did for my work day, and it was one of those days that there was so much going on that you basically just had to work until the work was done. So I took a couple small breaks to get some food and stuff like that here and there, but basically I worked from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. yesterday, came home and had a little bit of time right before the kids were going to get ready for bed, and I hadn't finished my work at that point. And this is where you got to make the decisions of what is the most important. And so for me, taking that time yesterday, I had to figure out how to unplug. My brain didn't want to shut off. I didn't want to stop working. I didn't want to stop doing what I was in the middle of. I had so much going on, and I wanted to make sure that the rest of my work week was going to go easy. So I wanted to take the time to get my work done on Tuesday so that it didn't stress out my Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and also making sure that I wouldn't have to work on the weekend. But there's something to be said about having a relationship with your kids every single day. And you have to find the ability to unplug at certain points in the day and make sure that you're investing in a relationship with your wife and kids. And so for me, I had to sit actually right outside the door of the house as I was about ready to get home, because I knew that when I walked in that door, my wife was going to need me and my kids were going to need me, because I hadn't been home all day. That was one of the longest days that I'd had in quite a while, away from home and away from my wife and kids. And when I walked in, standing in front of the door right before I turned the handle, I just had to take a moment and breathe, figure out exactly what mental energy I needed to be in so that I could go in and be the most productive. And on my drive home from some of the work that I was doing, I actually had to put a certain playlist on that kind of just hyped me up and put me in a good mood so that I didn't feel bogged down. And so finding the certain things that are going to help you unplug and unwind, for me, it was a little bit of music right before I walked in the door. And then as soon as I got inside, all I did was play with the kids. And I just sat there and I ran around and I was tickling them and I was playing with them. We were playing with stuffed animals and I was doing anything. And then I'd take a break and I'd sit with my wife. And I made brownies for my wife and kids because my wife wanted something, but she didn't want to have to do anything. She had had a long day with the kids. So I made brownies and took care of things. And then we got to the point that it was time to start unwinding for the day. And it was just one of those days that we really just needed some way to just chill, but spend some time with family. So we just turned on a movie. And it was just one of those nights where I could have worked basically until I went to bed, and I chose to take that time, spend it with the kids. And what I ended up doing is I stopped, spent the time, unplugged, played with my kids. And then we got to the point that my wife was fine. She wanted to watch a little show for her and spend a little bit of time, and she didn't mind if I had to do a little bit more. And so I sat down after the kids were down. I put them down. We spent some time. We watched a movie. We ate some brownies, and then I got a little bit more work done. And I was able to plug back in after I actually took the time to unplug. And I ended up working another like 4 hours that day and didn't go to bed until like 1 a.m. But it was just one of those days where you got to figure out what it's going to be and what's the most important. Work is always important because it's what pays the bills, right? But it shouldn't jeopardize your relationship with your wife and kids, and you have to find the time every single day to be there. The power of connection with your kids on a daily level will outweigh anything that you will ever do on a daily level at work. There's nothing that will ever outweigh the relationship balance with your kids. So make sure every single day you're taking that time. Unplug from whatever it is. If you've got a physical labor intensive job, then you need to figure out the ways to unwind your body physically so that you can give your kids a physical dad who's willing to spend some time when all you want to do is sit on the couch. If you've got a mentally exhausting day and a mentally tiring job, then you got to figure out how to take the time to shed that mental weight so that you can just be mentally present with your kids in those moments. There's always a balance, and it doesn't matter what you do. You're always going to have to battle with yourself when it comes down to picking what is the most important and how you're going to actually put yourself in the position to be the dad that is present with their kids. It's a choice to be present. It's not something that every dad does perfectly. It's not something that comes instinctively. It's a choice, and it's a mental attitude every single day to put yourself below your kids and to raise your kids on a platform that you're going to build a relationship with them. And if you don't do that, then you're not going to connect with them every single day. And what ends up happening if you don't connect with them every single day is the day goes by and doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Then a week goes by and you didn't really connect with your kids because it was just a busy week. And then before you know it, your kids are older and they're busy. And so then a month goes by and you don't connect. And before you know it, your kids are going to be teenagers and you're not even going to know who they are, and they're not going to know who you are because you don't take the time to connect with them every single day while it's important. Take the time every single day. Connect with your kids in at least one way. Unplug from the busyness of your life and plug into your kids' life if you actually want that relationship. Remember, we're all fighting the good fight to be the best fathers that we can. So keep fighting for your fatherhood and the relationships that you have with your kids.